Okay, so tip number one is to focus on yourself, not them. If you want to find love after divorce, don't focus on the other sex. Don't focus on men. Don't focus on women. Don't focus on dating or meeting people or perfecting your profile in the latest dating app. Focus on you. How is your relationship with yourself? How's your self-confidence? Do you trust yourself? Are you comfortable being alone? What kinds of thoughts are in your mind? How do you talk to yourself? Can you manage your emotions? How much of your day do you spend thinking thoughts that are resentful, angry, or bitter? If you are not square with yourself and you focus solely on dating, you will end up in unhealthy relationships. You will end up with somebody who fills one of the holes inside of you. It will be a codependent relationship, and you're very likely to repeat the same mistakes that led to divorce in the first place. When you focus on yourself, when you are square with yourself and that internal relationship is healthy, meeting people and everything that goes along with dating will come so much more naturally. Okay, let's move on to tip number two. If you really want to get out there and find love after divorce, maybe you even want to remarry. If you're jumping out into the dating pool, cardinal rule, do not try to be interesting. When you try to be interesting, you have to focus a lot on what you're going to say next. You have to be prepared for what you're going to say next. And that means that you can't listen well. The person that you're with when you're on that date, they are not going to remember all of the fascinating things that you said or how funny you were. What they are going to remember is the way that they felt when they were with you. And the best way to help somebody feel good when they're with you is to listen, not just with your ears, but with your whole body, to be fully present with them, to tell them with your eye contact, with your body language, with your engagement, that they are interesting. That is what is going to leave a mark. That is what's going to make an impression. They don't care if you're interesting. They want to feel like they are interesting. If you really think about it, this is true for you too. Which people in your life do you enjoy being around? Is it the ones who regale you with their wild stories? Or is it the ones who really sit there and listen and are curious and genuinely excited and interested in what you have to share? I am not saying that you don't get to talk or you don't get to tell your story. I'm just saying don't focus all your energy on being interesting, on being funny. Focus on what the other person is saying when they're talking. Be fully present with them. Allow there to be a space before you reply where you can actually think then of what to say. But make it a real conversation with a give and take, not just you pretending to listen while you really think about the next interesting thing to say because you're secretly afraid that they're not going to like you if you can't come up with like the best story ever. Don't try to be interesting. Focus on the person you're talking to. That's tip number three. Don't try to be impressive. Instead, just be honest. Just be yourself. I'm a divorce coach for men, and I get asked all the time about dating. And I can tell you the one thing that I have seen consistently work for my clients over and over again when it comes to finding love after divorce is being themselves. And the reason that this works so well is because when you're yourself, you give people a chance to like you for who you actually are. If you're trying to be impressive, if you're pretending to be someone you're not, you're wearing a mask. And maybe people will like that. But if they do, what are you going to do? Are you going to wear that mask for the rest of your life with that person? Are you always going to be pretending to be something that you're not? That doesn't sound like a very pleasant, fulfilling, or relaxing relationship to be in. Be yourself. Be honest about who you are. Be honest about what you like, what you want, your goals, your dreams, your values. Some people will like you. Some people will not like you. But when it comes to love, when it comes to relationships, isn't it a heck of a lot better to know which one it is up front? My fourth tip for finding love after divorce is be willing to say no. I can't tell you how many times I've seen a client get back into the dating pool and then kind of get stuck in the very first relationship, the very first or second person he goes out with. And he'll come to a coaching session and he'll say things like, I know it's not going to be a good fit for the long term. Man, in the short term, it's really fun. Or, we don't have any of the same values and she really wants different things. We have different ideas about family. And they'll tell me all of these reasons why this isn't a good match for them. Sometimes it's even like, well, she's really nice and sweet, but there's not much of a spark there. Or she freaks out and gets so angry sometimes, but the rest of the time she's really, really sweet. They'll tell me all these reasons why it's not a good match, and yet they don't leave the relationship. These men are staying with partners that they don't really want, who are not a good fit for them, because they're afraid that they won't find somebody else. They think this is their only chance. If this is true for you, please consider that there are almost 8 billion people on this planet. Many of them will live near you. Many of them will be close to you in age. Many of them will share similar values, dreams, goals, aspirations. There's something in the human brain that wants to make us out to be more unique or special than we are. I can promise you this, you are not the only one who thinks the way you do. You are not the only one who wants the life, the dreams, the vision of the future that you want. You are not the only one who is willing to work hard and fight for a relationship and be committed. Whether you are a man or a woman, you are not alone in wanting what you want. There is somebody, there are many somebodies near you in this world who are compatible in so many ways. There are almost 8 billion of us, and we are not that different. We are all human. We all crave connection and safety and freedom. There are many, many, many potential partners out there with whom you can build a happy future. So if you're with somebody where you don't see that being possible, where the alignment isn't there in terms of values, goals, attraction, physical connection, let it go. Say no. All you're doing by staying in those relationships is losing time when you could be with somebody who is so much better, so much more suited for the life you want to live.